Next is take action to approve resignations.
So moved.
Second.
I'd like to read some of these comments on the resignations without naming names. This one is addressed to Mr. Yoke. It says, I'm giving my 2-week notice to the Waterford Grade School District. I'm willing to go on the substitute list and volunteer in the classroom. I appreciate all the kindness and consideration you have shown me as an employee. These past years have been a wonderful, special experience for me. Another one addressed to Mr. Yoke. I would like to thank you once again for the support you've shown me throughout your tenure at the Waterford School District. The opportunities I have been offered during the last 9 years have helped me grow professionally and have allowed for my success with the children we serve. I will not forget your role in that success. This one is addressed to Mr. Mulhoff. After much consideration, I have decided that it is my family's best interest to end my employment with the Waterford Grade School District. My reasons for leaving are of a personal nature, but I assure you they are not related to any dissatisfaction with my job, the school district, or my co-workers. Although I love my job, my first priority is my family, and I have decided that I need to be home to care for my children during this time. I'm grateful for the employment experience I have gained at Evergreen Elementary. Thank you for the opportunity to work with such an outstanding school district. Resignation to Mr. Wardle. Between the increased demands of my husband's business and the busy lives of our daughters, as well as helping to care for my terminally ill aunt, I feel that it is in the best interest of my family that I step aside from my duties as a teacher. I have really enjoyed my years at Trailside and have appreciated the opportunity to work with you and learn from you. I am proud of the accomplishments of Trailside and of our district, and I'm grateful to have been a part of an amazing team. So, are there any comments or questions about the motion?
Who made the motion?
I'm sorry, who made the motion?
I think I did.
Ann made the motion, Paul seconded. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Unanimous on that. Action to approve the open enrollment seats for 2014-15.
Also moved.
I'm sorry. Action to approve individual employment contracts.
Also moved. Second.
Questions, comments? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Unanimous on that. Now, take action to approve the open enrollment seats for 2014-15.
Also moved.
Second.
Moved by Don, seconded by Paul.
Just a clarification, so you're saying on this, there are 8 openings at Trailside, the other 2 schools are listed there.
Correct. There's been since the first check in numbers, and I checked again last week, there's a significant influx at Evergreen. And so when I was told to staff 2 sections next year at each building, Evergreen is just at the minimum number of sections, if that makes sense to you, as is Woodfield. And so the point is that it's only January, and we can very easily pick up another 10 or 12 just residents of the district. Whereas there's a little bit more space at Trailside at this point for the 2 sections.
Okay, for kindergarten, I know we have waiting lists. Does that diminish the interest on the part of anybody? I mean, what I'm thinking of is I would like to have this open for kindergarten. Does waiting lists cause that a problem?
It would, because even in situations that it would really restrict enrollment at Evergreen and Trailside, or excuse me, Evergreen and Woodfield is what I was trying to say. Especially for those families that So right now, the only option would be trailside. Unless the board said we can all siblings in at Evergreen and Woodfield.
Personally, I'd like us to open it up for kindergarten. I think that's where our enrollment starts.
I would think also we want them here, starting in kindergarten, for as long as we can, to have them under our curriculum and teachers.
I'd have to agree with that, Bob, that we have the no limit like was proposed on.
So the only problem with that is we're at max capacity right now,
Right.
right? Full max capacity. You get 5 students at Evergreen. You now switch it to 3 sessions at 15 kids apiece. So you're way under capacity. So now it's costing us a extremely large amount per student at Evergreen for kindergarten to add those 5 students. Cost factor you pick up for those 5 students does not pay for the added session.
Good point. But don't we have the opportunity to switch students to different schools?
Yeah.
You know, if it comes to something like Dan's scenario.
Right. The other piece too is we could add K before we would strip it into three sections.
I think that's the whole idea of waiting list, is that you wait and see what kind of numbers you have, and not go ahead and commit our district to an extra section with that possible scenario. And that's exactly what the waiting list does for you, so I don't have a problem with the waiting list.
I wonder if knowing that we have like 1 to 2 or families coming in applying for that waiting list.
I would be all in favor of deterring the families from applying if it means that the taxpaying citizens of Waterford who actually pay the bill and have their students in kindergarten have a teacher to their access and are not forced to have 24 children in kindergarten because we allow outside open enrollment from a different district that does not pay taxes here. And the student is residing at our school at a lower number of money from the state for the exact same seat that the other people are paying full taxes. We get full reimbursement for. So I really think that a waiting list, and maybe that waiting list means that once we hit 15 on the waiting list, we add a session. Superintendent has the choice of where to put that session, whether it's at Trailside, Evergreen, or Woodfield, depending on what class level openness we have as far as rooms. And that's really what it comes down to.
If you stay with the waiting list scenario, typically by statute, we don't have to notify the August. And perhaps we can notify these people sooner than that.
Nothing restricting. I mean, our anticipation is to have another session if our waiting list is high. If 6 people show up and they all want an Evergreen, what do? You can't really start another session. All of a sudden, everybody's forced to have an aide in the other 2 sessions. The parents of the district who thought they had a reasonably sized kindergarten class, they're stuck with an overcrowded kindergarten class. I just don't see that as a good way to go.
We presently have 8 seats available at Trailside. So if it's open enrollment, if they choose to come, there are 8 seats available in the district. It's just the other 2 schools that would be an issue. And
Of course, usually at Trailside though, you get the influx of them usually in August when they come and sign up, don't you?
Right.
Of all the schools, you're the one that gets the most.
Well, it has happened, but there's other years where all of a sudden what we have on July 1 is kind of what we have on, the first day of school. You just never know. Trailside could be, you're right, Doug. The one year we had 32 on August 1st and we had 48 on the first day of school, being 16, almost 1 a day for the whole month.
Especially the area you have where you have that rental buildings now.
There's no guarantee. Other years it's kind of been flat throughout the summer, so it's hard to say.
Yeah.
So having a waiting list is not that restrictive.
Just as long as the board understands that. Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously you can earlier let the parents know, once you fill a waiting list up, when you need a session. There's doesn't restrict us from saying, hey, we're now opening a session. And you would fill that session. Then we hope they accept action.
Right. It doesn't happen, it hasn't happened too much that the parents.
Yeah.
So Renee, who made the motion and who seconded on that one?
Dawn and Paul.
Don and Paul. Is there any further discussion?
Maybe the motion back, so we know exactly.
What I call it safe.
This is
Yeah.
right there. Actually,
Basically, what that means is that there's 8 available seats at Trailside with a waiting list for the other 2 elementary schools. No seats in first or second grade, but a waiting list. 10 seats in third grade, 13 seats in fourth grade, 22 seats in fifth grade, 13 seats in sixth grade. No limit in seventh or eighth grade. And then the last part of that motion is that there would not be any availability for special education.
Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Anybody opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Dawn is a nay. Take action to approve acceptance of a gift donation.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Paul, seconded by Dawn.
There's a Evergreen parent, Mr. Kopp, that designated Evergreen School as the recipient of his employer's foundation annual contribution, a charitable contribution. And this school year, that contribution is $1,212, so it's 1212. Basically, it's up to the discretion of the building principal as to what those funds will be targeted at. But as is policy and practice, we need to acknowledge and accept that gift.
Very nice. Questions, comments on the motion?
Thank you.
It's very nice. And it's employer.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Is there anything else we need to bring up during this public portion of our meeting? We will now entertain a motion to convene in closed session to discuss employment, promotion,